This is where people get all fucking butt tied up with their panties all in a fucking bundle over who's going to be the first fight. Is it this one or is it that one? Who gives a shit?
Jamahal Hill tore his Achilles. He's vacated the title. And, yeah. Look, good for him, though, in terms of, look, it's an injury. It sucks. Why hold up the division? Yuri Prochazka did the same thing. Glover took advantage of the situation, became champ, then it switched hands over some time. Sorry, not Glover. It was Jan Blachowicz.
Glover beat Jan Blachowicz, who was the champion. Yuri beats Glover, and then he vacated based upon an injury. Jamahal Hill fights Glover for it, and now Jamahal Hill has vacated due to injury with the Achilles tendon. I can tell you, like I've had an Achilles tendon tear. It sucks as far as when it happens, and it's going to be probably about, give him 8 months. He could be back in 8 months fighting. It's a matter of the surgery itself. I don't know how long it's going to be before he gets it. It shouldn't be that long, but he'll be 6 weeks in a cast or boot for at least that's the way it was back in my day, which is a long time ago, but it's about 6 weeks in a cast. And then you've got a lot of physical therapy because, you can't even do a toe raise, you got to build it all back up, and it'll slowly get better and stuff, but it's a shitty injury to have, but it heals well. He's going to be the same guy. It's not going to change anything about him once he comes back. It's just the loss of time, and the physical therapy he's going to have to go through is going to suck, but that's part of the sports world. That's part of being the champ.
I'm going to bring something up, and Jamahal Hill, you can maybe correct me on this at all. But I believe that he played in a basketball game with like DC and those guys, all those guys while they were at the July, what was it? Yeah. The UFC fight week, right?
Yeah, at the fight week.
It makes me wonder if this had anything, because literally he got back and this week it was torn, and it was torn like what, Monday or Tuesday. So I know the UFC is I know they're dabbling in like doing things for their fighters to get together and having events and stuff while it's, the, what is it called? Fight week?
Yeah.
UFC.
International Fight Week.
International Fight Week. There you go. So I know that they're doing that. But the NFL got away from all that stuff. Remember when they used to have them run the 40? Remember when they used to have them
because they actually had injuries.
They had injuries. So I wonder, I'm not saying this is what it was from, but I'm thinking if Jamahal Hill, and the other part that sucks for Jamahal Hill is that you don't make money. Don't get me wrong. I know he's probably making pretty decent money, whether it's 250, 350, 400,000, whatever it is a fight, all those things, his business. But you don't make that championship money until you defend the title the first time. So defending the title the first. He
gets his pay-per-view money. He becomes business partners with the UFC is the way they look at it.
Yep.
Is you become our business partner when you defend the title.
And he didn't get that opportunity.
No, he didn't.
And so,
but he will.
But will they pay him that contract though that he vacated it? That's what makes me wonder.
I do think they will, because look, he's doing them the favor. He could have held on to the title and made them strip him. If that's what they were going to do, but
they wouldn't have stripped him.
I don't think they would have. And so I think they looked and told him, hey, look, Dr. Jeff Davidson is the UFC's medical director, and that he went to them and said, look, it's going to be 8 months before he can fight. Easy. And that's if he really works at it and does what he's supposed to do, which I'm sure he will.
Absolutely.
8 months. So do they want their light heavyweight title sitting there for 8 months? No, they don't. So this is, I'm not sure if they're going to change it over to Alex Pereira against Blachowicz. Is that going to be a championship fight? Are they going to actually do that? They could. I'm not saying they're going to, but they could coming up. You've got the BMF title, and you could have the light heavyweight title on the line, and then told him, hey, when you come back, you will still have the contract, which would be like you were the defending champion, and we'll let you fight for the title. So against whoever that's going to be at the time. It's going to be an odd mix-up, though, because you got Yuri sitting there. He's been out. You do have the Blachowicz versus Pereira fight coming up. You could make it that way. Does Yuri get the Yuri's going to come back before Hill. So it all could work out well, and there's a lot of good fights.
John, I want to know, where do you put that fight though? Where do you put Pereira and Blachowicz? Is that for the vacant title? And if it is for the vacant title, does it go ahead of the BMF title?
Doesn't matter.
Do you drop?
It does matter, John. I look at it this way. It does not matter.
It absolutely does matter.
Not. Really? To who?
Because
I'm asking you.
Well, because in most contracts, it says if you're the main event, you get a higher pay. So yes, it does matter.
So stop. So that's already been done, hasn't it?
What's been done?
What? Dustin Poirier and event. Justin Gaethje. Hold on. You know, is the main event. So I'm not going to change it. I've already had that in my contract. They are my main eventers. They're the ones that are making more. You're right. And this one, even though, yes, it's the title for the light heavyweight, I'd put it as the co-main, or it's the double main, whatever you want to say. So what? This is where people get all fucking butt tied up with their panties all in a fucking bundle over who's going to be the first fight. Is it this one or is it that one? Who gives a shit? You're going to get to see the fight.
I agree with what you're saying. We do get our panties in a bunch too much over who's going to go first, who's not. But where this takes place, where how this is different is I respect Gaethje and I respect Dustin. I think they're two of the best fighters to ever walk the face of the earth, and they're definitely two of the most exciting. I love both of them as fighters, both of them, and I've met Dustin in terms of I think he's a good person, really good person. I haven't met Justin long enough or talked to him enough. But that being said, you have a not real title ahead of the real title. That's the only thing that I would say. What does that do?
Hold on.
Okay.
It was not set up that way.
I know.
Right? And it wasn't, this is just something that occurred based upon Jamahal Hill being injured. And we had this light heavyweight matchup, which is a fantastic matchup. It's a prior middleweight champion against a prior light heavyweight champion, and we can make it for the title. Why not make it for the title? Don't change the order. Don't change anything with that. That doesn't matter. Just make it a title fight. It's your first title fight, and then your BMF, since that has been your main fight for all of your marketing, it stays as your main fight.
I don't know. I would feel a little slighted if I was fighting for the real world title at light heavyweight, and you have a BMF title ahead of me on this as the.
Let me ask you this.
I would just feel
okay. Let me ask you this.
But I get it.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I get it.
But let me ask you this, Josh. You have the ability to fight a light heavyweight fight as the co-main event, or you have the ability to fight for the light heavyweight title as the co-main event. Which one are you going to take?
I'm gonna take both of them. It doesn't matter. Like you want to fight. That's
it does matter which one. If you were given one opportunity, I can fight. We'll say that you're Alex. I can fight Jan just as a fight. It's a co-main fight, or I could fight Jan for the title. Which one are you gonna take?
Yeah. You're obviously, John. You're gonna take the title, but you're trying to shape the argument though. And I'm
not.
I don't care where it change. I don't care if it changes. I'm saying though, is that are you setting precedent that the title that the BMF title is now ahead of the real title? That's all. And are you potentially like it's a slippery slope kind of situation? Are you opening the doors for other stuff later on down the road for people to say, well, that happened before in the past. So don't tell me you're not going to do it for me. Like that's all I'm getting at.
Okay.
Do I think? Go ahead.
I had a little battle. I don't want to say it was a battle because it really wasn't, but with Ant Evans, who used to work with the UFC, over the Chicago card for Bellator with Sergio Pettis taking on Patricio Pitbull and Nemkov taking on Romero. And he was saying it's bullshit that they put Nemkov and Romero as that top fight. It should be Pettis. And it's like, who cares? I agree. I thought that Pettis, when asked, I said I would put Pettis versus Pitbull as my main event. But they decided not to, and it's their choice. And in the end, does it matter?
Yeah. But you're taking two real titles. That's the difference.
Yes.
When you're taking two real titles, it doesn't matter.
But you weren't. This was never set up to be a world title fight between Blachowicz and Pereira. But the opportunity comes in. It's like, why not?
I get what you're saying. I'm not denying what's going. Like, it was a situation that fell on their laps. We could just be sitting here speculating anyways. They haven't even said they're going to make this title shot.
This is true.
They haven't even said that Jan and Jamal Hill, or not Jamal Hill, but Alex are going to be fighting for the title. Yeah, they haven't even said it.
I know.
I'm just playing in my head. It would make sense for them to crown a champion as fast as possible.
Yeah,
there would be that, and these two obviously would be number 1, number 2 contenders. They're number 1, number 2. Alex coming up in weight. They pushed him that direction, so it would make sense. Look, he beat Izzy, knocked him out, and then he lost to Izzy by knockout, and now he's up fighting Jan. It would make sense for them to make it for the title, the vacant title.
Yeah.
And then if Yuri comes back, he fights the winner.
100% agree.